Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Cosmic Owl Astrology YouTube channel. I am Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl, and if you like my videos, please subscribe below and maybe check that little bell to get notified when I upload new content, and give the video a thumbs up, a like, and even leave me a comment. But today I want to talk to you about tomorrow's Saturn-Uranus square. This is the first of 3 Saturn-Uranus squares, which really are the defining aspect of 2021. The first one is tomorrow, February the 17th. I believe it's in the very early hours of February the 18th in Australia, but you know, we've been feeling this building. And the first square is at 7 degrees 14 minutes of Aquarius to Taurus, with Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus. And the second one will be on June the 14th at 13 degrees 7 minutes of Aquarius and Taurus. And the third and final square will be at 11 degrees and 6 minutes of Aquarius and Taurus on December the 24th. Now, this is the closing square, or the third quarter square, of a 45-year cycle. Okay, this cycle began back in 1988 with Saturn and Uranus conjunct at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, which was right on the galactic center. And interestingly on my ascendant. Now I'm trying to not change my share my charts, because I think I get too tied up in astrology jargon. So I am just going to talk about what all of this means and bring in some other aspects. If I look back at 1988, it was quite the year. It was Tiananmen Square. It was the wall coming down in Berlin. All that kind of energy leading up to that. It was Nelson Mandela being released from imprisonment after being in jail for so many years. It was quite the year. I remember where it was because it was the start of my first Saturn return. Okay, and it was kind of leading into we got the reverberations going into 1989 too. So we can see that the two energies together are quite the transformation, and a lot of them are to do with liberation versus authority, with conservatism versus progressivism. There's often volatility in financial markets, particularly with this one, because Uranus is in Taurus, which is our values and our material world and our finances. We've got Saturn in Aquarius, and Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius, and Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. And Aquarius is a sign of the bigger picture. It's community, it's humanitarianism, it's the people, if you like. And so we can see we have the tension between the people who want things to stay the same and people who want to bring change. So it's a very tense square, and it's going to be happening all year. And if you have any planets, particularly the Sun, Moon, Ascendant or angles, which are the Ascendant, Midheaven, Descendant or IC, and Saturn around 7 degrees, particularly of the fixed signs, okay, and they are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio or Aquarius, you are going to be feeling this impact even more. So some things that might be coming up for this, we may see some extreme weather events. For example, we had a tornado in North Carolina this morning that was quite devastating. We've also got this massive polar vortex spreading throughout the USA. Other things are kind of political turmoil in Myanmar. We have a coup and also protesters against the coup. We see great political tension there. There's some more political tension in Iraq. that's happening. But it's all about change and excitement colliding with societal rules in so many ways. There may be an element sometimes of elders versus youth. I don't see it in terms of those back. It's more about the old and the new. For example, the Robin Hood GameStop sharing leading up to this has kind of been very much involved with this first square. I will say I've been feeling the first square since Venus met Saturn about a week and a half ago before the Aquarius new moon. That's been really when it kicked in the effects of this square. So I would like you to look back and see what happened. It was about a week and a half ago, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus, where Uranus is. And when Venus met Saturn, it really started to show this divide between innovative and staying the same, wanting to stay the same, wanting to change. Well, on a personal level, the only thing you can change is yourself. so look at that. Okay. But it's, new ideas versus old way of doing things, earth changes, as I said, climate change, cybersecurity might be a thing, network disruption, technological disruption. Aquarius is very electric, and so is Uranus. And like millions are without power in Texas, or were without power, and other places in the US. I don't want to leave everybody out, but there's probably more of this going on elsewhere. There may be some political and domestic violence or head-butting between wanting to express yourself freely and somebody saying no. So squares can be very head-butting, and it's testing the limits really of freedom. Now, I found a great quote, on an article about this. So it's from Dr. Harriet Lerner. So, put simply, the challenge of change requires us to anticipate resistance from within and without, and to manage our own anxiety so that we can be our best self when the other person, out of their anxiety, acts like a big jerk. So if you have any planets being aspected by this, you will feel this real urge to change. I kind of go with the serenity prayer when there's these kind of tensions. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay, so those are the key lines. Are you trying to force change on everybody else, or are you changing what you can? Okay, so Saturn is wisdom as well, elder wisdom, mastery. So perhaps it's learning to take a step back with Saturn in Aquarius and say, what can I change here? Now, there is a slight wriggle on this Saturn-Uranus square that brings me into this one alone. At the point of the Saturn-Uranus square, which is tomorrow, 17th, as I said, it's kind of mid-morning or late morning rather, where I live, Salt Lake City time. But you're feeling it now. Don't worry about the exact time. But when the square becomes exact, late tomorrow morning, Salt Lake City time, which will be kind of late afternoon UK time, as I said, very early in Australia for most people on the 18th. Not only are Saturn and Uranus in square, the moon is also conjunct Uranus at the time of the square. So this brings emotional reactivity into it. So wherever you feel somebody who, at least from your perspective, appears to be the big jerk and is pressuring you, or where you emotionally react and decide you are going to change others, then be aware that the moon is there too, and that you may be emotionally reactive, and be aware that others are emotionally reactive too. because the Uranus moon in Taurus is very much electrical emotions. Your anxiety is likely to be extremely high, okay? And there may be an increased danger of accidents and tears or jaw clenching kind of energies with this, because your emotions are involved, the moon being exact, and from right now approaching that exact conjunction with the square. But there's more. That not only is the moon conjunct, I've actually started looking a little bit at asteroid Circe after I read the fabulous book Circe by Madeline Miller. Now, one theme I'm discovering with Circe through my research and through watching other people and watching what comes up in my own life is the theme of helping others to transform, whether they need help or not. You could look at it that she's showing others how to help, how to see where they need to change. But there's also the implication that your helping is telling them they cannot help themselves. And Circe, or Kirky, as apparently the pronunciation truly is, which I just cannot get my head around, is she is conjunct the moon and Uranus in there. So if we look at the moon and Uranus and Kirky or Circe all together at 7-8 degrees of Taurus, this is a real opportunity to turn that tendency to help others to change into helping yourself to change. To go back to that serenity prayer again, the courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, I'm not talking about core change. You are who you are. I'm talking about your responses and your reactions. We can make subtle changes. We can move away from reacting and responding emotionally, which can be the shadow reaction, to a well thought out reaction and holding back and changing how we respond and react. It's a simple shift, but not easy to do. Okay. And it's a simple shift in emphasis. It's not about changing who you are. It's just how you respond and react emotionally. So think on that where that's showing up in your life. Again, you'll be feeling this particularly if you have anything around 7 degrees of those fixed signs, which is again Taurus, Leo, Scorpio and Aquarius, but really around 7 degrees of anything, which would be me. I have everything at 7 degrees in my chart. So I'm feeling very in tune with this one. And know that it's an ongoing theme out in the world for this year, against trying to force others to change, rather than doing what you can to change, and also the emotional reaction to the changes out there as well. We're kind of seeing this in the world, really, with the wear mask, don't wear mask debate, all that kind of stuff. The vax, don't vax debate, and I do not want to get into any debates or anything, but we're seeing both sides think they're right. Both sides are forcing the other side to change. We're seeing it politically as well all over the world. So be a part of the change you want to see in the world, maybe, and change how you respond and react is all I can suggest. So have a happy Saturn-Uranus square. And again, I'm Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl. You can find me also on Facebook and Instagram as Cosmic Owl Astrology, and give my video a thumbs up. Thanks for listening.